So let's talk about the coaches for a while. Let me share with you some best practices of your sports organizations. One is your coaches are all volunteers, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
They're volunteers who are doing a very important job. People in this community are putting their children into their hands. Okay? And they're putting them into their hands to do what? To deliver on this. When you have any kind of job, especially as important a job as being a youth sports coach, we think that you should be given a job description. Just like parents need to have expectations communicated to them, the coaches in this league need to know what you want from them. You had large attendance at your coaches' workshop. So they got a good dose of this verbally. They got a presentation and interactive workshop about what it means to be a double goal coach at Sonoma Little League. You guys took this important step. This is a best practice. You required coaches to be at that workshop. Okay? So these are two important things. Now, the other thing when someone does an important job that helps them do their job well is giving them what? Yes, when they do it right, a pat on the back. And what about when they don't do it right?
Feedback.
Letting them know, hey, that's not the way we're gonna coach in this league. Here's some alternative ways to do it. Okay? Feedback, evaluation is an important part of improving and doing any job well, and doing it to the level of the organization's expectations. So at PCA, we encourage organizations to give their volunteer coaches feedback. And on pages 50 and 51, you can read more about it. Our evaluation and the evaluation form that we've created, and you can get it from our the partner website that you've been given access to. It goes hand in hand with the job description. Your job is to fill emotional tanks, honor the game, and emphasize the elm tree of mastery. And when we give you feedback, mid-season or at the end of the season, we're going to say, you're doing a great job of honoring the game, showing respect for the roots. You're not hitting that 5-to-1 ratio. Work on hitting your 5. You are emphasizing effort. So these when they're tied together, have maximum impact. And then lastly, an awards program that recognizes model double goal coaches. They may be the winningest coach, they may not be the winningest coach. What is the biggest honor a coach can receive in Little League Baseball, would you say? What?
Coach of the year.
Being named Coach of the Year? A thank you? A thank you appreciation? Who gets to coach the All-Stars? You get to coach them?
I did last year.
Why? Why did you get to coach the All-Stars?
I think I was the only guy that put my name in that hat.
Is that why?
I don't know.
We generally, the way that we establish it is the winning, the rank of the teams.
The winningest coach gets to coach the All-Stars?
Well, they get the option. They get the option
They
of
get,
choosing.
they get first pick. Okay. You know, Jay, the reason I bring this up is that is the norm. Getting to coach the All-Stars for a lot of youth baseball coaches is a high honor. And what message do we send? What are we reinforcing? Well, we're reinforcing the coach that wins. We're not reinforcing the coach that did the best job of this. We're not reinforcing the coach that did the best job of honoring the game necessarily. So PCA's point is to think about what awards you're giving and what message are they sending. What are you reinforcing with your awards? Yes?
But then if you start giving out awards, that can become a political process also too. And if you have that Coach of the Year award, it has to go to someone every year. Is it always going to the right guy? I mean, we got.
That's where you guys come in.
We've got to find someone to give it to.
That's
no,
where
we
you
don't
guys
have to give it every year. There was no Coach of the Year this year. Isn't there a case where that can be the case?
Okay, here's what I think. Coach of the Year is a wonderful honor if it's based on the right things. That's what I'm saying. The game ball. the game ball in baseball is a wonderful idea if it's given for the right things. Does every player on my team, my least developed player and my most developed player, have a chance, yeah, you're the least developed, have a chance for the game ball? If it's based on who got the most hits or scored the most runs or made the most touchdowns, we've eliminated everybody except our 3 top players. And so, do you have to give awards? No, you don't. And PCA would say giving no awards is better than giving awards that reinforce the wrong thing.
That's what I'm not a big fan. I think all coaches, they get awards that is the reason they do it. So I don't think a trophy on the mantle or a plaque. I think when a kid comes and shakes your hand 3 years later, I think that's the biggest award.
Okay,
that I'll ever
so
get.
Jay, one more comment, then I'm going to move this forward. This is good.
The award or reward that a good coach gets is that they are highly considered to be a coach the following season. And if they're not, then that sort of sends the message that they're not the kind of coach that we want.
Okay, so you're getting into this. Do you have the right people on the bus? Okay, at PCA we believe if a coach is not coaching the way you want them to coach, that they should be given some feedback and provided with tools and opportunity to change and grow. We think that they should be given that opportunity. They're volunteers, they're willing to step up and do this. At the end of the day, however, we also think that you have a responsibility to keep the right people on the bus and get the wrong people off the bus. I'll give you an example. Youth sports director in Boston had a coach that was win at all cost. Gave him feedback, sent him to training, had a mentor work with them. And the director wasn't seeing the changes he wanted, so he called the coach in and said, "Hey coach, you know we want you to be a double goal coach." He said, "That's just not my style." And the director said, "You're right, it's not your style, and we're going to find someone else to coach for us." Ultimately, you have to make some hard decisions on this, ultimately, okay? So I'm glad you say, Jay, that you were already thinking about that. So I already know part of my answer to this question, okay? And I think that there's not a whole lot of excitement about awards, so let's not worry about awards. We've got plenty of other things we can think about, okay? But which of these other things, well, you already did this, so this, you must feel this is good for you, because you did this, okay? Does a job description or feedback for coaches feel helpful, not helpful, too burdensome? Not sure?
I like it.
I think we should mandate feedback from the parents.
Well, is there ways to do anonymous evaluations, like by team parents?
Well, they just did it in CYO basketball, they used like generic survey, and they sent it out to the entire community, and parents had an opportunity to give feedback anonymously.
It should be mandated. If you want to sign up and play, you have to fill out
You
a
have to
questionnaire
sign.
at the end of the year.
Yeah.
about your-
The soccer league, which was on the other end of the spectrum, was making decisions this year based on not getting any feedback at all from parents. And they made decisions, and then the parents said, "Whoa, wait a minute." Okay? And then a huge firestorm erupted. And those same parents who, they submitted their feedback, but they did it under duress. So the fact that it should be hopefully mandated and become part of a process for feedback for the coaches, I think is an important thing to think about.
I'm sure Jolie gets plenty of
Because we
feedback.
can't, I mean, a lot of the stuff that, a lot of the feedback we get is, somebody approaches Jolie in Safeway, or somebody sends me an email or a text complaining about an isolated incident, and that's fine, we can catalog those, but if there's an epidemic on a team it'd be good to have 6 people respond to a survey that says this guy does this, this, and this, then we could say, okay, this is
But
really a
it's
problem.
only as effective as our willingness to make that hard decision, like you were talking about earlier. If we get feedback and we just kind of shrug our shoulders and go, well, you know, they're doing the best they can, and then next year that guy's or lady's coaching again, then that completely undermines our authority.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're gonna ask for that feedback, we have to be willing to act on it. So.
And I
But
think,
it's not a petition to get somebody thrown out of the league. It's an
No, no.
evaluation
Yeah.
of their time during that season. And then we, I guess, have to decide whether we try to turn that coach around and get him to focus on this stuff, or we just say he's a lost cause. And we've done that, and we've had, it's been.
That
not
evaluation
been
isn't
fun.
just for the coaches, it's for the overall experience of
Yes.
the
Yes.
kids in the
Well,
league.
you decide how what do you want feedback on? Do you want it directly about the coach? Do you want it about the league as a whole? Maybe if part of it is about the coach and part of it about the league as a whole, it feels a little better to the coaches that you guys are asking for some feedback too, So let me tell you 2 things about coach evaluations that we've learned from organizations who've taken sometimes the uncomfortable step of trying this. One is they found that 90% of the feedback they get about their coaches is positive. Feedback that they want. You said give them a pat, give the coaches a pat on the back. The reward is the thank you they get. This can be the thank you for 90% of your coaches. Part of the thank you. The other thing we find about this is that a lot of them, so a coach might get, let's say you have 15 evaluations turned in on a coach, and one of them says this coach is double goal and he didn't teach my kid anything about baseball, and 14 of the other ones say, coach was great, we had a great experience. You probably don't pay that much attention to the one, like Jay said, okay? However, if you get back a stack and 12 out of the 15 say, we never want to play for this coach again, maybe that's something to pay attention to. Yeah.
one would think that might show itself before an end of the season.
It might.
Well, that goes to the
It might.
that goes to the retention portion
Yeah.
of that, because in this particular season, when somebody registers online, they can provide notes.
They can provide what?
They can put notes in the registration that'll
Oh, okay.
pop up on the kid's name when we open it
Oh,
up.
okay.
And you can write a note, and there were several instances where one specific coach was identified as saying, I want my kid on any team but blank. So that's a retention issue and then players that are not signing up because, and whose team were they on last year? This guy's team. So it's a retention thing, it's a parent being confident enough to verbalize that they don't wanna be on that guy's team anymore. It's just too many flags for us to ignore, so.
And I also think that through evaluations, that any coach that really cares, or actually an individual does not really want to do, would want to improve and not do anything that would be hurting a 6 to a 12-year-old child. So
That's
I think that
That's right. Some coaches are mature enough when you tell them that, your kids aren't having a positive experience, they actually appreciate knowing and being given the opportunity to change. Because that's not the impact they want to have. They didn't volunteer so they could make kids miserable. All right, let's shift gears for a second here. And to transition us from talking about coaches to parents, I got another brief video to share with you.